The Flicks Book Club.
The Flicks Book Club.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
Welcome to Flicks Book Club. My name is Casey Aurora, and I'm joined with...
Hey, it's Dennis Rooney.
Hey, it's Steve McDonald here.
All right, cool. If you haven't already, be sure to check out our website, flicksbookclub.com, and also our Twitter, @FlicksBookClub. We really like all the feedback we've been getting from you guys. This week's selection is Robocop 2014, or Robocop the Reboot. It's directed by Jose Padilla, who directed Elite Squad in 2007. It's like a Brazilian version of SWAT. Starring Joel Kinnaman, Gary Oldman, Michael Keaton, Sam Jackson, and Abby Cornish. Basically, this movie is it's a reboot from the 1987 movie, and it's about a cop from Detroit who gets killed, injured severely.
Pretty
badly. And then ends up being made into a half machine, half human cyborg type situation.
I'd go 85% machine.
Yeah. In this one, yes, it's definitely 85% because he's just a hand, a couple pair of lungs, and and a head, really, and a heart. And a heart of gold.
And one hand.
And one hand, yeah. So I would say I picked this movie because I was a huge fan of the first RoboCop years ago, the original RoboCop, and I wanted to see it. You know, it actually kind of piqued my interest.
It was kind of like the Old Boy selection, which you also picked because you've seen the first one, and you kind of don't want to see the new one because you don't want to be disappointed, but you got it. Right. You got to know what the deal is.
You have to put it in, and so I watched it, and I'm going to say that, you know, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it to the point where I'm going to go with stream it. So I don't know what you, Dennis?
I want to hear Steven's first because mine almost hinges on Steven's.
Yeah, does it? No, then forget Steven.
All right. No, you know what? I'm going to stick with a hard don't stream it. I'm sorry. I wanted to like this film, and I loved the first 35, 40 minutes of this film.
Yeah.
But there's one scene, which I'll get to later, where after that I was like, oh, we're just off the rails now. It's just too much.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go don't. I wanted it to be, but it did a lot of things right, but don't stream it.
Movie about half man, half machine off the rails. Okay, cool. All right. All right. Cool.
I am also going to go with don't stream it.
I knew I walked into a treacherous cave of...
No. And I don't hate the movie. I just like the first one better.
Yeah, okay.
Like
I should also mention I've never seen the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe that affects it.
I really liked the movie, and at the same time, like I kind of wish that the whole movie had been about Michael Keaton.
Okay.
He was great.
All right. Okay.
He was good.
All right, so we'll, watch the movie or don't watch the movie, I guess. Depends on if you value these guys' opinions. And then we'll come back and we'll discuss it.
Show me. Kim? No. Holy Christ. Holy Christ. Holy Christ, there's nothing left.
Oh, and we're back. All right, great.
We're back.
He's told me to come back.
Oh, okay. You were saying, oh, Christ.
I was, when we hit the break, I went, I'm happy that someone got it. Steven got it. I went, oh, Christ. Oh, Christ.
What?
And that's the scene. That's when it went, as you said, off the rails, man.
Right.
All right?
Okay.
Because they show him, and all right, in the first Robocop, is he about half man? Like he's still half his body? Is there how much of him is him?
No, it's really only it's about as much
just
as
his
what
jaw.
is left.
No,
No. I mean, it's like in the first Robocop, it's literally like his face is like attached to a metal
But
thing.
it's almost his brain.
It's his brain.
It's his brain, and
but there's literally like nothing even attaching.
You
his
don't really
face
know
to
though. They
anything.
don't tell.
They
you.
don't show.
They don't
they
show
do
you.
that. 40 minutes into this film, they show you where he's like, I have to. He tries to run away at first, which I loved. I love that when they wake him up, and he runs outside, and he's like, Gary Oldman is like, all right.
Gary Oldman plays the guy who basically created him,
Dr. Norton.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they show the scene where they wake him up for the second time, and Alex Murphy, the cop, the RoboCop, is now like, all right, I need to see, like, show me what I am. Mm-hmm. And they start pulling away the pieces of the suit, and all that's left is a completely separate hand,
right?
A pair of lungs, you would assume a heart, the brain,
There's a
which
heart
is
underneath there.
there's a heart back there,
Yeah.
and like a face.
Yeah.
And
And
he
an
goes, "Oh
esophagus."
Christ!"
And an esophagus. It's really creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty rough. It's
No,
probably-
and I didn't. This is the thing is that I was watching it and I had seen the movie before. I saw it in theaters and
Oh. You paid
the
for
first
that?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Opening
because
night, were you
Rachel,
dressed up as RoboCop?
No. Rachel wanted to see it also,
Oh, of course.
and so we went and saw it, and my problem with it was that it was PG-13.
Yeah.
was the first one rated R?
The first one is very rated
It is
R.
very violent, actually.
like the first
very,
one.
very
the first
violent.
one, the way that the guy dies,
Yeah.
is not like
I'm gonna watch this movie.
it
at some
happens in the
point.
first 10 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, go
it's
ahead.
really
It's
ridiculously
ridiculous. Literally, they
Pulled
they
limb
like
from limb?
no. They shoot him with shotguns, blowing off every limb.
violent. Right.
That's so
Like
80s
they,
violence.
Like
Yeah.
they pin him to the ground and shoot off his arms and legs with shotguns.
The 80s was like maybe the best decade for like gun violence in movies.
Yeah.
I think
I will say
the way
this
they
though,
did things.
in the original movie, they the gang that he goes up against, they're very cultural, very diverse.
Yeah.
It's a very eclectic group, which I liked about the original. But this movie is good. Like the basic storyline is, cop he gets. There's actually they changed it a little bit from the original. So
Yeah.
the huge debate is this: whether to have machines as allowed in the United States. That's the big debate. Whether or not to have machines.
robot police officers.
Robot police officers. Robots really in general. They don't really have robots in general in the United States.
I don't know. They don't mention that.
Well,
much.
that's what seems to be implied, but they don't.
I will say this, it was a little weird in the movie because it seems like today, like 2015, but we also have these super smart killer robots walking around, or like that kind of technology. And I know that we have crazy technology now, but we also have things that are catching up to that. In this RoboCop movie, like she's walking around the house, you'd think there'd be more stuff than like. The one thing I noticed was the television was clear. It was see-through when it wasn't on.
Right.
But like
Yeah.
as far as the rest of technology, apparently we've only made
All
advances.
their phones were also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I
The
kinda
phones
liked.
were like eh.
But at the same time, the first RoboCop was along this. It was set in the future, but it was along this lines that all of these different '80s movies were, which was that everybody was coming off of like the crazy crack boom, and everybody thought that nothing was going to get better ever. Like that's essentially what it was that it was like gangs and drugs of the 80s and early 90s was just going to ruin the whole planet.
That is hilarious.
And-
That, like street gangs were a huge thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the thing was that Detroit was like a demilitarized zone in the first one. It wasn't like it was like kind of a prosperous city that just happened to have some crime. It was like a war. It's literally like a war zone.
Yeah, Detroit seemed kind of nice in
And
this
what they
movie.
This is
needed-
how Detroit will end up like in the future.
Yeah,
it
like
seemed really
kind
nice.
of okay,
Yeah.
and like there's been some investment back, and then it's like a robotics industry works here, and like all the people that worked at auto plants can work at robotics plants now. Like,
Seems like a good idea.
seems like a pretty good idea.
I like how they have it mapped out if you think about it.
but
I don't know. Yeah, I guess this
But
movie
that's-
does like small things right, and then the big things. It
well, no, and
screws
that's
up.
that's my thing is that when the first movie happened, it was under this idea that was like Detroit was going to be a kind of a lot more like Detroit is right now.
Yeah.
And that it was just going to be lawlessness, but it was these huge street gangs who had taken over. It was like Escape from New York or something like
Right.
that.
It was pretty
Warriors.
wild.
And or warriors or anything. And it was almost like they needed this robot soldier, to like come in and like clean house on everybody because he couldn't be shot and he couldn't be it was
This
just like
one's
he was
more
unstoppable.
political.
This one's more political on
Right.
this end.
Yeah,
It's
especially
like,
with like the cold open in Iran.
Yeah,
saying
yes. The basic
Well, and that's-
Policing the streets
thing
and
is
stuff.
they want to be able to have the Michael Keaton who was the owner of OCP.
yeah,
and
he was,
wants to put
Sellers, Raymond Sellers.
Omnicorp.
he wants to put machines on the streets in the United States, but there's a law against it. However, he finds a loophole where he's able to put if it's part human, then it's not considered a machine.
Yeah, if it's a machine, if it's a person who's making the choices, that's the
Right.
big thing.
Yes.
And that's another part of the movie. Oh, okay, so he shows him the lung. You have the lung scene. That's what I'll refer to it as.
Well, and that scene, to get back to what I was mentioning before we move on, I think that the reason that scene doesn't work is because they couldn't swear.
Maybe.
Because the thing is that this is my problem with movies that end up being PG-13 because they want younger kids to be able to go see it.
Right.
Is that There are moments
They
in
lose
human
realism.
There are moments in human existence where, as an adult, you swear
Yeah.
a lot.
Right.
That's one of them.
Yes.
When you're
best you
you're
could
watching
burst
a
out.
mirror and your body starts being pulled apart, and then all you are is a head and lungs. You say the F word a lot.
You don't go,
You,
oh Christ.
you don't go, oh Christ,
Oh,
oh
Christ."
Christ.
See, the problem is that like this movie. I mean, the people.
Imagine it's just like, oh boy.
The people.
Oh no.
The people who like the people who saw this movie, like they have kids now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want it. They want their kids to see it, and you can't do a lot of
Here's the
argument.
thing. The director wanted the rated R. He should have gotten the rated R.
Right.
Because you know what? Take your kids to R-rated films. All right. I got taken to R-rated films as a kid, and it was always a great experience.
Stolen.
Pick and choose. I was stolen. I was convinced.
It was stolen.
Remember the nudie booths in Manhattan? I had a lot of good times there.
Right.
No, but like going to
You had a
R-rated
good
films.
dad.
When you're like 13, 14,
I think it's perfectly fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
make your own decision, but like,
Of course.
don't cost us terrible movies.
Considering that like 12-year-olds have like cell phones in their pockets that they can look up hardcore porn on, you might as well just take them.
Exactly.
To
I mean,
it.
they have it's the movie made $240 million, and it was like it cost like around $100 million, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of it takes
Yeah.
into account that parents are taking their kids to this movie because
Yeah.
the nostalgia effect was perfectly ripe for the time.
Yeah.
And
I can make an argument though.
what?
Dread. The Dread remake.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Judge Dredd got that rated R rating. A lot of people thought
So
it was going to
good.
be doo-doo. That was a good movie, man. And word of mouth got around, and that movie made money.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting a sequel.
Yeah, I'm
so like
pretty
it
sure
could
it
go
is.
either way. I understand, they got to make their money, but the director.
The problem is that Dredd has a stronger like following. Dredd has a stronger history too. RoboCop isn't a good story. No one like it's not like
RoboCop is as big of a franchise as Dredd, I would argue.
Would you? I would
Because
think
Dredd
that
started with comics, which is a
In-
huge thing, a huge medium. However, RoboCop had multiple sequels, had 2 TV series.
Yeah, but comic books
It had
are
2 TV series.
Two
did.
TV
It
series.
did have 2.
I did not know
I
it had
watched
2
one of
TV
them and I
series.
liked it a lot. I'm gonna be honest. RoboCop. Another reason I picked this movie. RoboCop came to my school when I was a child.
No way.
yeah.
Some like how accurate,
Dude,
Was he clean?
it was ridiculously accurate. Like,
Did he kill somebody?
It was, if he did, all I was waiting for him to open up the thigh and let a gun out, and I would have wild out. I remember giving him a hug, and I remember like the hug that he gave me back was really poor, and I was like, just like Dad.
Just like I thought you were gonna say just like the real RoboCop.
No, it was
Did
incredible.
he put your head up against his chest for a heartbeat and there was nothing there?
No, I tried to listen, but
Just a mechanical ticking.
I was too short. All I could get was to his torso. But that's why I picked the movie, dude. But that's the thing. Judge Dredd has a comic book history rooted into it. RoboCop, people have argued.
Actually, RoboCop might have.
I think they had a
roots in
small
comics,
comic
too.
book, but it's not as Judge Dredd. Like when people talk about it, there's a heavy nostalgia effect. Whereas RoboCop, it's not as much.
I think it's both, man. I think
I-
they're both
I would
in the same
I
realm.
would say
I'm
RoboCop.
just gonna go with this.
Michael
less.
Keaton was in the RoboCop remake.
Yo, they
Dredd
had
didn't have
Gary
any big names.
Oldman,
They had a huge cast
Sam
for this
Jackson, Abby Cornish.
I want
all
to talk
g-
about that. I want to hear what Steven has to say, but yeah, I do want to talk about the amazing cast for
Cast
the
was-
RoboCop reboot.
It was
like, what is that about?
Maybe
Steve, what were you
nostalgia.
gonna say?
Well, what I was going to say is that I think that you are underestimating the massive amount of nostalgia that especially our generation has for RoboCop.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not
our
s-
generation was the one that crowdfunded a RoboCop statue.
You're right. You're 100% right.
Detroit.
You're right. But which I didn't see when I was in Detroit, and I kind of regret now.
That's a big regret.
I know that's I'm going to live
You
with that
give
one.
the statue a hug,
Yeah, I
just like last time.
hello, father. So I wanted to yeah, I know you're right, there is that, but I'm just saying there's more. I'm not saying there isn't a nostalgia thing for RoboCop. Obviously they made a reboot, I get
Yeah.
it, but I think that Judge Dredd has a stronger one because of the comic book effect and because of how violent it is. Now that's subjective and we can go argue back and
Yeah,
forth about it.
I definitely disagree with you.
That's
Listeners,
fine.
let us know where you fall
But
on this one.
The movie was packed. It was packed
Packed.
with an all-star cast, and it was really
Yeah.
solid.
Who do we have? We've got
Joel Kinnaman, which by the
who's
way,
the lowest name on the totem
he is the
pole?
lowest name, and he plays Alex Murphy. He's a Swedish American actor. He's done a few movies.
Oh, he's Swedish American.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
to me
Right.
because he acted just like a robot. It was
Right.
really good.
It
He
was-
nailed it.
I think
I didn't think he was that great in this film, man.
dude. It's
He was also too skinny to play Robocop. There, I said it.
not
Too skinny to play Robocop.
Not much range is required to play a robot.
Oh Christ. Oh no.
I think.
Wait, hold on. Is Joel Kinnaman here?
I think that.
Well done.
Thank you.
I think that Joel Kinnaman is an amazingly good actor, and if you haven't seen
The Killing, that's
The
what you're
Killing,
gonna say.
Right.
yeah, then
maybe
you
I should see
should
that.
because it's really good and he's really good in it. I do think that he got known for The Killing, and this was one of those moments where it was like an agent being like,
Yes.
"We're gonna turn you
Yeah.
into an action star,"
Right.
And he was like, "Okay, how much am I getting paid?" And they were like, "A lot," and he was like, "Definitely,
Yeah,
let's
I'll
do
take this.
And at the same time, they were like, Mike, they were like, Michael Keaton's in this movie,
Yeah.
Sam Jackson's in this
I
movie.
didn't look it up. If you could look it up, or if someone could look it up, this was Michael Keaton's like kind of return. It wasn't Birdman. Birdman
No.
came out after RoboCop. This
Right.
was like
Birdman
his
came out
first
after
movie in
RoboCop.
years, right?
This is his. It's a slow return. It's a slow return.
I mean, just don't you think it's weird?
I mean,
that he did
you know what this?
RoboCop before
No,
Birdman?
you know what this reminds me of is when I saw Winter Soldier, the Captain America second movie,
Uh-huh.
and Robert Redford's in it.
Is he really?
Robert Redford plays like the bad guy.
Yes.
In Winter Soldier,
Right.
And there was
Our
this
boy?
moment,
Yeah.
and there was
From
this,
All Is Lost?
Yeah.
Robbie Red.
He got out of the water?
And there was-
yeah, he did.
and
He
there
made
was
it
a
home.
moment. There was a moment in it where I was just like, "Why is Robert Redford in this movie?"
You got
Like-
got to keep the lights on.
Well, no, it's not even like you got to keep the lights on.
Yeah, in many
Like what?
houses. In
Partly-
many houses.
Partly, I'm
that's
sure
true.
it's that,
Yeah.
but also the reality that it comes down to is that it's like Michael Keaton has kids, and so there's a bit of me where it's like, hey, I like, my kids are getting older now. They're like, I'm able to go onto set. I'm able to do things, again, and not feel like I'm missing out on their lives. What do you guys think that I could do? And they're like, you want to be in RoboCop? And he's like, yeah, I do want to be.
Everyone
in RoboCop.
want to
like
get.
I was Batman.
Right.
Now I'm gonna be the guy in RoboCop.
Everyone else
like,
does a good job in this film. And Joel Kinnaman did a good job, but they didn't give him enough. He didn't have enough lines.
He's a
Honestly,
robot.
I know, but like even beforehand, I don't know. Oh, the dude from The Wire, what's his name? Omar from The
Omar.
Wire is in this. He didn't get enough play. His big line is this: "At least now I know you're the right color." What? What does that mean? I was sitting with my roommate watching this movie, and she
Yeah.
looks at me and just goes, "Did he just say that? Did he really just say,
Right.
At least now I know you're the right color?"
Yeah, it
'Cause
was. It was pretty hokey.
It
that
was
was
a hokey
that was a
line.
line. That was a line written by a white man.
when
Yeah.
when RoboCop is first brought to the public, the one thing that is like a little ridiculous for me is that they have this machine / person, and this cyborg comes out. They're like, "Oh, this is the cop of the future," and there's a convicted killer standing in the crowd,
Yeah.
like just in the middle of the crowd, and he's like, "Oh, hey, there's a cop demonstration going on. Let me see what's happening here."
Let's go to that.
Yeah, he shows up and then the cop's like, and then RoboCop's like, "Oh, hey, wait a minute, there's a convicted killer right there. Let me take him out." And I'm like, that scene was a little ridiculous. It was cool though.
See, that scene was a little bit ridiculous. This is my thing though, is that when they get to the Sam Jackson stuff where he's talking
By
about
the way,
the
Sam
guy,
Jackson does not make it an all-star cast. Sam Jackson doesn't turn down many films.
Yeah, but he still makes it an
Yeah.
all-star.
I
This
will
could be
say
called
this.
this.
sorry.
He's like the Jeremy Renner of movies. He
This
just
movie
shows
could
up.
be called RoboCop, or Sam Jackson almost made a movie where he didn't say motherfucker,
Yeah, that's true.
and he didn't say it. He
No.
said,
I will say this is that there was a moment when I was watching the movie this time, and I was like, man, if Sam Jackson ever wanted to have a show on Fox, like he could just like show this with like it
Yeah.
felt like it was like his Fox News
Yeah.
reel.
His
Right.
pitch.
I wanna be the new Glenn Beck.
He
Let
plays a
me
news
play him.
correspondent who's basically he's kind of like telling the whole storyline of what's going on. He's sort of like the
Yeah.
narrator in some aspects
a little bit.
of like the plot about what
He's
to
very
have
funny.
machines.
By the
in a
way,
movie.
just as a side note, because I was thinking this as well as like a future tech moment, I love watching movies that are like reasonable sci-fi. Like it's like yeah, we could have these things. And I was watching when I was watching Sam Jackson, the one thought that I had was was, I hope we get to a future where newscasters who have this massive amount of technology at their disposal actually know how to use it.
Right.
Because he would just like wave his hands in the air and actually zoom in on things and do things correctly. And it's like you watch stuff like that on CNN where they've got the board that they can touch for things, and they're just terrible at it.
Yeah.
And so there's this bit of me that was watching it just like, man, I hope the news is like this in the future.
That's what you want for the future?
I
That's
at
a
least
sad-
want.
that's a
I at
sad
least want,
expectation.
If
it's
there's one
actually
thing we
like
can-
he's.
I don't
actually,
want
like,
a cure for
compelling.
disease or cancer. I want news correspondents to know how to use touchscreen.
Hey, mind you, this is during a time period in this movie when they've got massive robot.
Right.
Like, one of the things that I had with this was that I was like, when they bring Gary Oldman in and they've got all of these people with like these robot limbs that are awesome.
Right.
I had this one where I was like rehabilitation. No, this is people cutting their arms off so that they can get robot arms.
hands.
Like,
Yeah.
I can have robot legs. Let's do this.
Did anyone think that at the end of the movie, Sam Jackson would reveal that he's a robot? Because I thought that was going to happen, and I was really excited.
He was maybe the funniest character in the film.
He was
And
meant to be.
I know, and he was
Yeah.
extremely accurate. Like, he
Right.
did a great job. My favorite part was when he has the senator who has the bill, like not allowing the robots.
The Dreyfus
and-
bill.
Yeah, and Sellers is there, Michael Keaton's character, and they're kind of doing a face-off thing. And they just completely shut out the senator, and he goes, is Senator so-and-so pro-guns or like pro-violence or pro-crime? Pro-crime. He goes,
Yeah.
pro-crime. And they just didn't give him a chance at all. That was really well written. Like, that was a very good scene.
That was a
Yeah.
good scene. Abby Cornish is in this. She was in the movie Limitless, and that's another. She's also like she's starred in movies, man. It's ridiculous.
Which one is she?
She's Alex
wife?
Murphy's wife. Yeah,
She's good.
I didn't
Yes.
recognize her from anything. She
She's
was. I
good.
guess she was good. I mean, I don't know.
solid. I don't understand.
It's a one-dimensional character. It's
His-
the wife who's like,
I will say
"Where's
this
my
is.
husband?"
I will say this is that
She had more
the
of a
little
role
boy
in this
the little
movie.
boy who played his son. I can't decide whether he was great because he was frightened of RoboCop. Okay, or whether he was terrible because I feel like every boy at that age would be like, "There's a robot in my house."
I think
no,
I'd be pretty excited.
I would
Like,
be
Dad's
excited.
back and he's
Dad's
got
a robot now.
Yeah, no, he did a good job. I think he had good range, and I never liked child actors. I can't stand them. I hate them all.
There was just not enough character development, though, for so many people.
There
Like I
wasn't-
said,
well-
Omar from The Wire.
Well, no.
Alex, honestly, I didn't care that much for Alex Murphy.
That's my
I didn't
problem.
know enough about him.
That's one of the reasons after watching it a second time that I had with the movie was that the first RoboCop actually does a really good job of building the character of RoboCop and the fact that he has to like deal with the fact that he is a robot and a man. And that he's not fully in control, and that he's not who he used to
in
be.
the original.
In the original one.
I thought this one did a pretty solid job. The guy's learning how to figure it out. He goes
No,
through
no.
a training process.
It's not
The training
that's-
process sucked, by the way. It was like
that's
watching
not-
someone play a video game. It wasn't fun at all. That could have been so cool. It's just him walking around
Yeah.
shooting everyone with exact precision. I'm sorry, but that's not that interesting.
You know what it reminded me of was the
Ah.
movie Equilibrium.
I don't know that one.
Yeah,
Never
that's
seen it.
a good. Yeah, I could understand
Because he had
that.
two guns.
Right, that's true. Yeah,
But they...
Okay.
that's
This
not
isn't-
that's
Dustin
not
hasn't
why
seen it,
I
so it
thought
doesn't
about
matter.
Equilibrium.
He
but
had two guns.
He had two guns.
No,
Pick
because
the
he had...
weirdest points to come out with.
No, because in Equilibrium the guy has two guns and like has precision accuracy
Right.
shooting
Right.
people.
Yeah, gun fu.
And yeah, it's gun
Yeah, it's
fu or
boring.
whatever.
It's not cool.
It's man, I thought that they developed RoboCop really
I
well.
think
You know what?
I think that they didn't because they decided to go on this point of like he's trying to solve his own murder.
yeah, that's
No, it's cool.
Right.
It's interesting, but that's not character development. Like that's not him like what it needed like if it was like his son died that same night and now he's like it's like he's reconnecting with his wife by finding the killer of his son or something like that, then it would have made more sense. But in this case it felt like a robotic thing.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like a human thing. It felt like I have a program. I need to find a killer. The killer of this person becomes my main objective. I must go after that objective.
But he chose that objective over all other things. There's a scene in that movie where
his dopamine levels go back up, and
Right.
which doesn't they never explain.
The rate-
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
He
the
can't make
raising
his
of
own dopamine levels.
of dopamine levels, where it's like he's fighting back against the system, is that it's like
Yeah.
that's cool.
Right.
It's not character development.
When a guy decides, when he's half machine, well, when he's 95% machine, and he decides to override the system because of his desire to find the person who led to his death, doesn't that show revenge? Doesn't that show a man's follies, a man's desire to do right?
Doesn't show his follies. Doesn't show his desire to do right. It just shows revenge. I'd say it.
Yeah,
I needed RoboCop. Maybe some narration of what's going on in his head, what he's thinking.
What
for a guy who's only left with his brain? Yeah. How come we don't know what this dude's thinking most of the time?
What do you expect him to do? Sit there and read poetry to his wife?
No.
He's a bag of lungs, dude.
No, I think that and I think that this is a point that Dennis is making is that they do that entire scene from a very like retracted position. We don't. It's like he's trying to find the guy, and he's going from here to here, and he's going from here to here, and it's just Gary Oldman and the other girl sitting in the lab going, "Oh wait, he's trying to figure out his murder. Oh wait, he's going to the next guy. Oh wait," like narrating what's going on.
Okay.
And the thing is that there's no. Like, he can just talk to them. He's got a radio in his head.
How
they
is that
easily could have had him just be like add character to it. It just felt like in that moment he was a robot.
RoboCop didn't do that either. He really just went after his own killers in that same regard.
Yeah, but the difference was that he was he had much more in the original RoboCop. There was much more character development on him trying to get his wife to fall back in love with him.
In the original?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of that in the original?
Nah,
RoboCop seducing?
He's not
some fleshy?
He doesn't come in with a bottle of wine.
Well, no. I mean, like, he's trying to like he spends a portion of the movie in the first RoboCop trying to recapture his humanity. Yeah. And I don't feel like
I didn't see any of that in this film.
Feel like he spent time. I feel like it was more like he was embracing the robot rather than trying to find his own path to his own humanity. And that's what I had a problem with.
Okay.
Character development wise.
Right.
As someone who's never seen the first one, I literally didn't know where the movie was going to go. Like, this is my first time really knowing the story of RoboCop. And when they drop the dopamine levels down and kind of take away his ability to, emote and like, make choices and stuff, I thought it was going to stay like that for the rest of the movie. And I was like, this is going to suck. I thought it, and even then, where they were like, he's not really making the decisions. He thinks he's making the decisions. That's a real, like, I understood it, and I do understand it, but it's so like we're writing our way around this problem. That's what it felt like, and I don't know if that was in the original film.
No, a lot of things they don't even talk about in the original film.
I'd almost rather have that than a terrible explanation.
No, I do understand that aspect.
I'm pretty sure that in the first one, in the original RoboCop, they try to make human brain implanted robots out of other people, and they find out that it's like they try to use prisoners or something like that.
No, that's part 2.
Is that part 2?
That's definitely
that's part 2. And then all of the prisoners try to kill themselves. Like they immediately kill themselves. Like they'll pull out a gun and just like put it to their head and blow their brains out.
There's one scene in RoboCop 2 where they come up with they're like, oh, we have a bunch of new other RoboCops, and one RoboCop takes a gun out and blows its brains out. And another.
Don't tell me anymore. I want to watch the original RoboCop.
No,
this sounds pretty good.
This is part 2.
Oh, part 2.
Yeah, and another.
It sounds dark.
Another RoboCop pulls its own head off and just starts screaming wildly.
That's hilarious.
There's a darkness to the original RoboCop that this movie didn't capture.
Yeah.
I understand that. And that's one thing that, and I really hate to talk about the old one when discussing the new one, but I think
But as a
standalone in the new one has, it's good. I think it's fun. I mean, I think there's, if you become sort of like RoboCop in a way where you shut your brain off a little bit and you kind of go for the ride, isn't it a little enjoyable?
Yeah, but there's better movies to do that with, like Dredd.
Yeah,
Dredd was a lot more entertaining for me.
Right,
I gotta say.
Right, I watched Dredd. I thought it was
there's
good.
different moments that were there's different moments in this that I thought were really great and a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's just that as a whole movie, it just didn't hold up for me. And that's kind of like I think that there's like I loved when it did have that moment when he was trying to find his own killer, where it's like, it's all the dots connecting. It's him utilizing all these things where it's almost like if you could be a cop who could pull evidence
and video footage from
anywhere and all these different things and link them together, to to do something with it and solve a crime. It's like, oh, that's awesome.
That
like,
wasn't
that's
that great?
Really
Wasn't that
cool.
a cool
Yeah,
thing
but
when he's using?
when I saw that, I was also thinking like, well, can't they already do this with computers? Like, why do they have to have the
No.
human element to make
it's
this work?
because
No.
there's too many things running at the same
Well,
time.
and
It's like multiple.
and
It's a
camera feeds.
computer.
But it's just there's a certain amount of
New
it.
shit.
Well, no,
Come on,
and this
man.
is the thing.
The camera technology of face matching and stuff that RoboCop was utilizing, you can do that with computers.
Can you?
Yeah,
In this world, you definitely can.
you can't. All the systems aren't connected.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the thing.
thing.
He's
But
like
you
the-
could make them connected without making RoboCop. Is my
So
point.
I'm just saying,
But
we're
here's
closer
the
to
thing.
RoboCop.
Plus, what if
Here's the thing.
RoboCop gets
No,
made
no,
and
no,
he
no.
doesn't want to be a RoboCop? What if he
No,
wants
no,
to be a
no.
Robo-golfer?
What?
They don't give this guy any options. They just make him, and he's like, I just went through a serious accident. I'm retiring. They're like, we spent all this money on you.
Ah.
He's like,
spent
well,
all
am I
this
going to
money
get
on you, you
paid?
have
Do I
doesn't
get?
even-
Am I getting a raise?
Yeah, it's not even a pension.
I'm making a lot more arrests than I used to.
Right.
Where's the money at? I got a family to support.
That'd be so funny.
My kid
if
won't
he-
touch me.
That'd be so funny if he just started going to work for private security because he could make more money.
Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
bouncer,
Oh my god.
a robo bouncer.
I also wanted to see when he got home. I wanted to see his kid be like, "Dad, I saved all the Red Wings games," and he was just like, "I watched them, man. I was in the hospital for like 4 months. I
Yeah,
was
what do you
bored
want?
out of my mind."
What do you want from me?
I do. Well, no, and that's another kind of thing is that it's like I think that one of the more human elements that we could pull into the entire thing would have been like things like towards the end of the movie deciding to like sitting down with his kid to watch the red
That
Wings
would have been
games.
nice. Yeah.
Where it's
Really?
like I'm bringing it
Some
back
sort of
around to like
character
well because this is the thing is that with the revenge and all that stuff that you're talking about
Yeah.
it's him trying to it's the man inside the machine attempting to reclaim his humanity.
Yes.
And what they didn't do was actually get him to reclaim his humanity. By the end of the movie, it's not like he has like struggled back through this entire thing to become Alex Murphy again.
Mm-hmm.
He's not at the end of the movie. He's RoboCop.
Yeah.
He's still RoboCop. He's not Alex Murphy with a robot body.
Mm.
And that's what I think is really missing from this movie is the moment where you look at it and you're like, he finally became like he solved his own murder. He found these different people and he reconnected with his family in a way that makes it so that like not only is he RoboCop, but like he's gonna be okay as a human.
Right. But the movie is called Robocop. It's not called
Alex
Human
Murphy.
Cop Person, none of that. All right,
Wolf
it's
Cop.
It's which we're never gonna watch. RoboCop. All right. Well, I'm assuming I'm not changing either one of your.
Nah, man.
No,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I didn't-
No,
I
you're
like
not.
Dread too much,
I
and
didn't
it's
even
too
think I
similar.
could. All right. Well, then I guess I guess that's what it is. But check out the website, right? I guess what's our next pick? Whose pick is it?
My pick is the next one. We're gonna watch the movie Bulletproof Salesman.
Bulletproof Salesman.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Is that like Bulletproof Monk?
Exactly.
Cool, man. I love
It's
it. Love a good
it's like
kung fu
bullet.
movie.
It's like Bulletproof Monk, except that the person is a door-to-door salesman, who fights crime at every.
Hopefully he can
At
find his
every
humanity
knock.
somewhere amongst the because man is in the title. But we'll see if that works. All right, well, check out the website, flixbookclub.com, also the Twitter, @flixbookclub, and that pretty much wraps it up. All right, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.